Hi guys! Have you ever purchased a Hobonichi Cousin or any dated journal for that matter and wondered, dang, how am I going to fill out all of these open daily pages? Well, don't worry. Have I got the video for you? We are going to discuss 5 different ways on how to fill out all of these blank pages. All right, guys, I know you're wondering how are we going to fill out these blank pages in our journal. Well, I am going to pull out some of my old journals to help me discuss that. I do have my very first Hobonichi, as you can see, Hobonichi 2020. Oh my God, I can't believe I've been a loyal girl since 2020. And then I also have my Hobonichi 2022. Don't ask me where, if you're wondering where is Hobonichi 2021, mind your business. No, I'm just kidding. I really don't know. I think it got lost somewhere in storage or when I was moving, which is disheartening, but it does happen from time to time. So let's just have a moment of silence for Hobonichi 2021. Okay, moving forward. Hobonichi 2023, I will also be using some examples from here. So let's go ahead and get started. What I do want to say before we even get started with this is that you should not feel pressured to fill in your Hobonichi Cousin, okay? I don't want you to feel like, oh my gosh, I have to have all these blank pages filled out. Not true, you guys. It's just something that we're doing to ourselves. But I do want you to know that this is from 2020, and as you can see, I have plenty of blank pages because I just did not feel like journaling, and that's okay. So I wanted to preface this video by saying it's okay, you guys. It's okay to have blank pages. It's okay to have incomplete pages. Here is my monthly page from 2022. Oh wow, I got 2 things on there. But that's okay, you know what I'm saying? It's okay. We're still going to live. Here's a cute weekly spread, incomplete. Doggone it, it was super cute too. I'm kind of mad I did not finish this one. But it is what it is. Sometimes you have the time to journal. Sometimes you don't have the energy to journal. Sometimes you're too busy to journal, and that's okay. It's okay, you guys. We don't have to stress ourselves out saying, oh my gosh, I have to fill out these pages. No, you don't. No, you don't. It's something that we do to ourselves, and I just want to tell you right now, stop doing it. But if you do have the time and you really want to have full pages, this video is going to show you how I like to make sure I get all my pages completed. Let's start with my favorite way of completing a spread, which is just drawing. So I draw a lot in my Hobonichi. It's definitely something I love to do. I can fill out a huge page, as you can see, just by doodling. And it makes me happy. I love looking back at the pages where I drew the most. So these are my favorite kind of pages to look back at. It's fun, and as you can see, it fills a whole page. So I love to draw in my Hobonichi Cousin. That is one example. Maybe you don't like to draw. Here is something that you could do. Maybe you have a child who likes to draw. First of all, this was hella creepy. But this is something that my daughter drew. And I had to ask her, like, are you okay? Is there something you want to tell me? Do you have any imaginary friends? But she's good. It's just, I don't know. Maybe she watches too much anime like her mom. But yeah, so she drew this, and I have lots of drawings that my friends, not my friends, my kids did post it and print it in my Hobonichi Cousin. So if you can draw, maybe your child or even your friend can, and you can post their drawings in your Hobonichi Cousin. Maybe you can draw. One thing that you can do when you're drawing is you can draw what you watched. Here, I think it should be very clear what I watched that day. But I watched Wednesday, and so I was inspired to draw a Wednesday spread. I think I actually have a short of me drawing this as a YouTube video, a YouTube short. So you can check that out if you like. But yes, it's cool to just draw, you know, what you experienced that day. So it's literally art journaling, because not only is it just a random doodle, like the very first shoe doodle that I showed you, that was just random. It had nothing to do with anything. But this actually has something to do with the actual day. This is relevant to what I actually did that day. So it makes it feel like extra special. So yes, definitely feel free to draw. If you really want to fill out a space, just draw on the whole page. Like, this is more than just a shoe drawing. I think I had a little bit more space. I had to force myself to put these here to journal, but honestly, you could delete these squares and just draw, just sketch something that day and be done with it. You know, as you can see, I really didn't do any journaling, and it was honestly not necessary to do any journaling, but I decided to. But if you wanted to, you could definitely not do this, or this and this, and just have a picture on your page, and that's perfectly fine. And lastly, maybe you want to draw, but you don't know how to draw, or you just haven't had time to draw a lot lately. May I recommend just doodling? I honestly want to bring these back. I love doodling in my Hobonichi, and in this old 2021, I used to doodle every day, like a version of myself, a chibi version of myself, if you will. And basically what I was feeling that day. This day I was tired. This day I was really into exercise. So it's like you can really tell how I was feeling just with the doodle that I drew that day. And that's a great thing that you could do with drawing that I really don't think you can express with writing. It's like, yes, I can go back and read all of this crap, or I could just take a look of a drawing that I made that reflects how I felt that day. So that's why I think drawing is one of the best ways to actually journal. You know, it really is a snapshot of how you felt, what you experienced, or even just something random that day. The second thing that I like to do when I don't know what to journal is to journal media, especially movies. So here in my 2020 Hobonichi Cousin, I did go ahead and journal my experience with Encanto, as you can see. And not only is it a visual of the movie, it has the title there, but I also wrote about it. So this is a good way to fill up space in your Hobonichi Cousin. As you can see, here's another spread. This is in my 2022. This is when I really started taping in the, what are these called? The movie tickets. And oh my gosh, y'all, this was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Still one of my favorite movies. Is it a little bit weird? Yes, but if you can really get into like what they're trying to say, it is such a freaking beautiful masterpiece. But yes, and not only did I talk about Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I did draw like something from the movie. So there's that. Then we have, ta-da, This was a movie night here. I talked about movies that I watched. As you can see, I watched Drifting Home, Lightyear, Elvis, and Forever Purge. I watched all those movies. So I just wrote a little blurb. You don't have to doodle. You don't even have to write a long, well thought out thesis. Just a sentence or two is nice. And I just want to show this page here because I also watched Jeff Dahmer. So movies and then TV, like you can just write about what you watched that day, and that is perfectly fine. I know we're all watching TV. Don't act like you don't watch some kind of entertainment. It may not be cable. It may be a Netflix documentary. It may be a YouTube that you like, or maybe you're into video games, such as I. So I did write about, what is this, Ragnarok, God of War. Oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful movie. Not movie, but although it feels like a movie, it's a video game, but it has beautiful graphics and a great story, great character development, bro. Like, it's just beautiful. So I had to write about it. That was that. Lastly, here is a spread about Spider-Man. Spider-Man is arguably, Spider-Man 2 specifically, it is arguably one of the best movies ever made. Argue with your mama. I love this movie. I think it is just beautiful. So I had to write about it, and I doodled about it. Here's something that Miles says: a hero isn't the one who always wins, it's the one who always tries. And it's a masterpiece. So as you can see, I wrote about the movie, and I wrote about my life as well, but mostly it was just about the movie here. The next way to fill a Hobonichi Cousin or any dated journal that kind of makes you feel pressure to write is to simply make a list. Here is my Hobonichi Cousin from 2020. As you can see, very empty pages. I just have washi down and I just listed it out, bro. Listed what I had to do, what I wanted to do, and that was it. No fancy drawings, no fancy doodles, no fancy lettering. I was very just into it this week. And actually, as you can see, let's go this way. It was like this for a while. I just listed it out. And then again, another blank page. But it is what it is. I'm not mad at it. That also lets me kind of know like how I was feeling that day. If I wasn't doing like the artsy fartsy stuff, then it was letting me know, oh, she probably wasn't feeling too good. And that's okay. As you can see, for this page, we just listed it out. We put a fat sticker on top to kind of like pretend like we were decorating. And then we just listed it out. And that it is what it is. It looks like it's more than what it is, but in hindsight, this page is exactly like the other page that you saw in my 2020 Hobonichi Cousin. It's really just a list, but I put stickers on top to make it feel like something more, and all it is just a list. Here we go again. This was when I was trying to do Planmas the other year. I didn't make it. I think I'm doing better this year. But as you can see, this was just me listing out Planmas ideas. It is what it is. You know, it's just a list. I did decorate it with some washi here and some stickers here. But at the end of the day, the writing is just a list. Let me see if I can get one more example from here. Here is a pretty list. It looks really pretty, right? But at the end of the day, it's mostly just a list. I do have a little blurb here. But as you can see, this is a list right here. This is also a list. It's a list of the crumble cookies that I tasted. See, your list don't even have to be super serious. It could even with the movie list that I showed you in the other spread when I was just talking about movies, that is a form of a list. But this is just a list of the cookies that I tasted. Here is another list of, you know, to-dos for that day. So at the end of the day, lists really do help fill out your journal. Now, if you want to add stickers, add lettering, add different inks to make it look pretty, go for it. But at the end of the day, these 2 pages together are primarily just lists. So you can really fill out your Hobonichi with just lists. Last list I wanted to show you was from my Hobonichi Cousin from this year, and this is my Planmas video from this year. As you can see, this is a list as well. It's not as pretty as the other Planmas list that you saw, but it is what it is. And as you can see, here's doodling again, but it's just a list. It's just a list, and that's fine. It doesn't need to be fancy. It fills out the page, and it lets me know what I need to do. It's very functional, and there's nothing wrong with that, you guys. And I did just want to show you this from this journal because I wanted to show you guys that these 5 things are things that I did in every single Hobonichi Cousin. 5 tricks to just really go ahead and fill out the spreads. Another way that I filled out spreads in my Hobonichi Cousins is to just go ahead and do some fancy lettering. Fancy lettering will make you feel like you did something when you did not do anything at all. As you can see, here's an example from this year's Hobonichi Cousin. And I wouldn't even call this fancy, but it is using different fonts. And when using different fonts, it provides interest to the page, you know, without really doing anything. Here, all I did was quoted a song, but when I use different fonts, it really like makes you want to look at the page. I don't know why our brain is like that, but it just is. So try using different fonts when you're in your Hobonichi to fill out a page. Here is another day that I did to really fill out the page. Different fonts. Let's really talk about it. So as you can see, I usually always do like my Saturday and Sunday. Here, I wrote a quote in a font. This one says late night, early rise. And then here I was writing fonts in a different font again to showcase basically what I need to do. And as you can see, this is basically a list again. Let's dig into it. Let's dig into it. Let's really get me going for Hobonichi Cousin. This is a list of what I need to get done. This is a list of me planning for Instagram. This is a list for what I need to get done. These 3 things here are all simply just lists. And then the font adds interest, and then it also like basically notates a change, something different. So these 2, as you can see, are written the same way. Get it done, because these 2 are things or tasks that I need to actually get done. Here I highlighted Instagram, and so this is just showcasing what I need to do for Instagram. And here I highlighted morning thoughts. I woke up and wrote a little blurb, and then I told myself to go to bed on time tonight, but I did it in a nice font to like fill out this weird space here. And that's another thing that you could do with lettering, is to just fill out weird random spaces that you may or may not like. Sorry if I sound disgusting. My allergies are going ham, bro. Here is some lettering for when I did not feel like even journaling that day. I didn't feel good. As you can see, I wrote down drained, and I just wrote it in a way that filled this space. That's not even necessary. I honestly didn't even need to do that much, but I did. And I know I can just look at this page and obviously see that I was clearly drained. But here again, as you can see, I do have some different lettering here, just cursive, nothing too fancy. But this is actually Rihanna's song. As you can see, lift me up, hold me down, keep me close, safe and sound. I'm not going to sing. Y'all know that okay, here we go. Lift me up. Y'all know I always sing. I wasn't going to do it to y'all today because I don't feel well, but heck, you got it anyways. But yeah, feel free to write quotes and lyrics in your Hobonichi Cousin, you guys. It's only going to add to it. As you can see here, whoop, let that ish go. So I did just, here's another list, of course, and then I just did a quick little lettering of how I was really feeling and what I needed to do that day. I needed to let that mess go, but I wrote it in a pretty font. This was Christmas for the year 2020, and I wrote Merry Christmas, and I don't know if you can see it. It says Merry Christmas, and in gold font I wrote, and a Happy New Year. This is a really cute way of doing something. So I made like a fancy Christmas tree, and then here are the ornaments, and then I wrote in the ornaments. And as you can see, it rained on the day previous. And so I just wrote rainy morning, but it adds a lot of visual interest there at the top. And honestly, I think I have to start bringing in the gold pen again. Hold on. See, I'm inspiring myself. That's why I love these YouTube videos. If you guys don't get nothing from it, best believe I will, okay? All right. The last tip I'm going to give you guys for this specific video on how to fill your Hobonichi Cousin or any dated journal is to not worry about the date. Simply just write what you need to write or cover up the date if you need to. But it started here in my 2020 journal. This had nothing to do with this date. It really didn't. I just wanted to remind myself I need to work on draw this in your style challenges, but it was not for this specific date. And then I wrote a prayer here, but again, it had really nothing to do with the date. Although I know you guys are probably like, man, that's still kind of date specific. This is what really like jumped off me knowing that I don't have to worry about dates here, okay? Here we go. Here's another example of me not caring about the date. I put some washi on it here. Love this. And I just wrote a little blurb about each Harry Potter house. And it is what it is. Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, Slytherin, and of course, the best house, argue with your mama, Hufflepuff, which is my house. So, as you can see, has nothing to do with any days, but, you know, it fills out a spread. And that's perfectly fine. Let's see here. Here's a good one here. As you can see, here's another page where I wanted to write something, but, you know, just didn't have the time. But here are the blank pages in the back, which I made into a reading journal. You can do this in your Hobonichi daily section. All you have to do, if you really feel like the date is bothering you, put some washi up there. Now there's no date. But I did want to show you guys this. And so here it is. It's just a reading journal of what I read that year. And you could, like I said, you can definitely do this in the dated section. Cover up that date if you need to. But I just wrote about my favorite book of the month. Well, I think I only read one book a month. I need to get back into reading, you guys. But as you can see, just wrote about the book. Wrote about how long it took me to read it. And it is what it is. Here is another example of just blocking out the date. Go ahead, girl. Just block it out if it's bothering you that much. Block it out and then write about something. For this instance, it was about the Beyonce concert that I went to. And yes, I did go on that Thursday, but I did not go on Friday. It was just one day. So technically, if you want to be technical, it should have only been on this page. But as you can see, cleared out the dates so I can write about the Beyonce concert and have as much room, I guess, as I needed to decorate a spread. So definitely just clear out the dates, you guys, if you feel like the dates are too much for you. And then lastly, I do have this evolution spread that you saw, blocked out the dates, and then just wrote a little blurb about the different EVs, but filled out 2 more pages in my Hobonichi Cousin. So I hope you guys felt inspired to write more in your Hobonichi Cousin or your dated journal. I hope I gave you some ideas of how to fill out the pages a little bit, and you go ahead and realize that you don't have to fill out the pages. I showed you that I have lots of incomplete pages. It's okay to have incomplete pages. You know, stop giving yourself so much pressure to fill everything out. It's gonna be okay if there are blank pages, you guys. However, if you want a filled out book, I completely get it. Hopefully you can use these tips to fill out your Hobonichi for next year, 2024, okay? If you like this video, please feel free to like this video. If you dislike the video, feel free to leave a dislike, bro. We keep it real over here. I just want to thank you guys for rocking with me this Planmas so far, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!